That blockbuster breakup, Angelina Jolie filing for divorce from Brad Pitt. So many questions this morning about what went wrong and what it means for the couple's 6 children.
What if everything you thought you knew about Brad Pitt's son was about to change? For years, we've watched them grow up in the spotlight. But now, at 20, he's ready to reveal something big. You've heard the rumors, seen the headlines. Now it's time for the truth. Get ready, because what he's about to share might just surprise you. Curious to find out what it is? Keep watching. Brad Pitt, a Hollywood legend. One name that connects well beyond the silver screen is Brad Pitt. Pitt grew up in Springfield, Missouri, in Shawnee, Oklahoma. In 1963, Pitt packed his things and flew to Los Angeles, prepared to pursue a desire he had long harbored: acting. After attending the University of Missouri, where he studied journalism just 2 credits shy of graduating, starting small and performing commercials and TV shows, he had his debut in the 1991 picture Thelma and Louise, in a brief but memorable capacity as a charming drifter. Pitt is a Hollywood A-lister in one swoop, and a heartthrob, since that one role defines the tone for the following few decades. From then, he firmly established himself in film history with parts in A River Runs Through It, Interview with the Vampire, and Legends of the Fall. Still, his variety was well known by his readiness to embrace grittier, more complicated characters. Pitt possessed acting chops to fit movies like 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, and Seven, proving he was not only a gorgeous face. He grew well known throughout time and a symbol of cinematic brilliance. But even if Brad Pitt's on-screen character was indisputable, his actual life events were equally fascinating. Pitt's relationships have always come under close examination among other facets of his life. Pitt started seeing his Mr. and Mrs. Smith co-star Angelina Jolie, and the media world erupted in frenzy following his well-publicized marriage to Friends star Jennifer Aniston, which ended in 2005. Dubbed Brangelina, the couple became the focus of countless tabloid articles as both photographers and fans found great interest in the relationship. Their fast-expanding brood gave Brangelina even more appeal. With 6 children, 3 biological and 3 adopted, each bringing their own special tale into the mix. Brad and Angelina have Maddox from Cambodia, Zahara from Ethiopia, and Pax from Vietnam. Their adopted children introduced the world to the kind and worldwide side of Brad and Angelina's parenting. Then arrived their biological children. Shiloh, born in Namibia in 2006. Twins Knox and Vivian arrived in 2008. From red carpet events to global travel, the Jolie-Pitt family rose to become among the most well-known in the world. Though the public loved Brad Pitt's commitment as a father, they also stayed fascinated by the dynamics inside the family and the personalities of the children as they aged. Now, as Brad Pitt's kids take the stage, viewers are especially interested in the pathways they are choosing. And at the age of 20, one of his boys has at last answered our collective questions. The mystery surrounding Brad Pitt's children. From the time Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's children were born, they attracted great media attention. Although most celebrities try to keep their children out of public view, Brad and Angelina's brood found themselves front and center from the start. After all, it's difficult to keep out of the news when 2 of your parents are among the most famous Hollywood stars. When Angelina adopted Maddox, her first child from Cambodia in 2002, the Jolie-Pitt family dynamic began to garner notice. This was before her formal beginning of a relationship with Brad Pitt, but the acceptance created waves in Hollywood and beyond. Maddox's acceptance marked the start of Angelina's dedication to overseas humanitarian work, a quality Brad eventually embraced as they started their marriage. With the revelation that Brad and Angelina were starting another family, the media frenzy around them entered hyperbole in 2005. Angelina brought Zahara Marley from Ethiopia in 2006. Brad formally adopted Maddox and Zahara not too long afterward. Reflecting the couple's humanitarian ideals, the Jolie-Pitt family was fast coming to represent variety and compassion. Angelina said a few months later that she was expecting their first biological child, Shiloh Novell, born in Namibia in May 2006. Shiloh's birth was a worldwide media phenomenon, with one magazine apparently paying over $4 million for the first shots of Shiloh. which Brad and Angelina kindly donated to charity. Tabloids hurried to grab the first pictures. The curiosity was heightened by Shiloh's unusual name and birth circumstances. The public's interest about their unusual upbringing and the way of life rose along with their family size. The Jolie-Pitt family grew yet more as the years passed. Angelina adopted Pax Thien from Vietnam in 2007. Later in France in 2008, Knox Leon and Vivian Marceline were born. Like Shiloh, the twins' birth set off a media frenzy. As many question how the family juggled their prominent careers with 6 children's upbringing, every youngster brought a tsunami of media conjecture. Although Brad and Angelina have always been very protective of their children, it hasn't stopped rumors about their particular personalities and the roles they may play as they grow up in such an unusual home situation. Being the oldest, Maddox was sometimes said to be the most self-sufficient of the lot. Rumors about Maddox's possible professional path spread over the years. Some claim he might work in the entertainment business just like his parents. Working with Angelina on her directing efforts, Maddox sparked interest about whether he would have a future in movies, which drove this conjecture. Zahara drew attention as well. She's recognized for her reserved but assured public demeanor. According to certain tales, Zahara was passionate about fashion and design. She had assisted Angelina with jewelry creation for several purposes. Whether these whispers were real or not, Zahara clearly exuded a uniqueness that captivated many. Then arrived Shiloh, whose looks and manner attracted unrelenting public attention. Shiloh showed her uniqueness from a young age by choosing clothes that often reflected more gender-neutral or male trends, with some even implying that Brad and Angelina were raising Shiloh in a non-traditional manner. Tabloids speculated about her identity and her relationship with her parents very often. Shiloh stayed a bit of a mystery through it all, rarely publicly, but always attracting media attention wherever she was seen with her family. Regarding Pax, Knox, and Vivian, they have generally stayed out of the spotlight relative to their older siblings. Still, this has not stopped media sources and fans from guessing about their interests and future directions. Particularly Pax has been said to be more subdued and artistically oriented, which makes many people question whether he too would follow in his parents' creative footsteps, maybe behind the scenes rather than in front of the camera. Though much is known, the personal path of every child still fascinates people. Beyond the unique personalities of the Jolie-Pitt children, much of the public interest has focused on their relationship with their parents, especially in light of Brad and Angelina's well-publicized divorce in 2016. Reports of tense ties between Brad and some of his children started to surface as the breakup was splattered over newspapers. Particularly, Maddox was said to have had a strained connection with his father. Some stories claim he had cut off contact with Brad following the divorce. Whether these tales were based on actual events or just tabloid conjecture, they simply heightened the mystery around the family. The children's few public appearances still generate rumors as they have gotten older. Whether seen on family trips or red carpet events with their mother, every appearance of the Jolie-Pitt children becomes a topic of discussion for both tabloids and fans. Over time, the obsession with how they negotiate life as children of Hollywood royalty, while simultaneously trying to define their own identities, has only deepened. People still wonder how the Jolie-Pitt children will define public view of their future. The public's interest also stems much from the Jolie-Pitt children's particular upbringing. Brad and Angelina made sure their children had a broader worldwide experience than most famous families raising their kids in Los Angeles or New York. From living in Namibia and Cambodia to often traveling across continents, the Jolie-Pitt children were exposed to a world much beyond Hollywood. Rooted in their parents' dedication to humanitarian work and cultural immersion, this unusual way of life has surely impacted their opinions and hence the public's impression of them. With 3 adopted children from throughout the globe and 3 biological children, the family's variety also reflects a modern worldwide viewpoint. This dynamic not only fascinates the people, but also acts as a symbol of inclusivity, compassion, and global relations. Under Brad and Angelina's direction, the kids have grown up knowing the complexity of both privilege and duty, juggling their celebrity with a consciousness of world problems. The world watches attentively as every child enters maturity to see how they will embrace their particular background. And although most of the media's coverage has relied on rumors and conjecture, the Jolie-Pitt children have mostly stayed behind closed doors, despite their notoriety. Now, as one of Brad Pitt's boys approaches 20, we are starting to catch the first hints of their unique routes, occupations, and choices. As they enter adulthood and start to validate or contradict the stories that have long followed their lives, the riddle around them could soon be clear-cut. The world waits to know what the next chapter holds for this famously evasive family. Brad Pitt's son, the early years. We will center Brad Pitt's first adopted son, Maddox Jolie-Pitt. In this part, through his connection with Angelina Jolie, Maddox was the first child to enter Brad's life. His entrance signaled a turning point in Brad's own road toward fatherhood. August 5, 2001 saw Maddox born in Cambodia. Angelina Jolie adopted him in March 2002. Although Brad Pitt and Angelina were not officially together at the time, Maddox's adoption would later become a major component of their family history. Actually, many people believe that Maddox's arrival marks a turning point that brought Brad and Angelina closer and finally resulted in Brad adopting Maddox himself in 2006, at the beginning of their relationship when filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Adoption comes with difficulties as well. At the time, adoption rules in Cambodia were severe. Hence, Angelina's adoption of Maddox encountered obstacles and delays. But once Maddox was formally in Angelina's life, it was evident that he would also be very important in Brad's life. Brad legally adopted Maddox, therefore confirming their father-son relationship. The attachment between Brad and Maddox developed strong rapidly. Brad Pitt entered a new phase of parenting at the adoption, which marked a turning point. Maddox was sucked into a world of cameras and headlines the moment he started living with Brad Pitt. Maddox, the eldest of the Jolie-Pitt children, had early years widely watched by the media. Tabloids and entertainment news sources chronicled every public appearance he made with his parents, whether it was on a movie set or during their overseas travel. Often the focus of media attention was his unique appearance and strong friendship with Angelina. Brad and Angelina worked to make sure Maddox had a balanced background, even with all the attention. From Cambodia to France, he lived in several countries, traveled great distances with the family, and attended numerous foreign schools. Early exposure to several cultures gave Maddox a worldwide viewpoint, which his parents pushed. Brad and Angelina were well known for giving their kids varied experiences, ranging from more subdued family holidays to philanthropic ones. Early in Maddox's life, key events included his education, a top of public interest. Maddox apparently attended a French immersion school once, and then registered in an international school in Los Angeles. His background was unlike most, with knowledge of problems outside the Hollywood bubble and access to world education. Media sources closely tracked his appearance at premieres and charitable events with his parents, sometimes characterizing him as sophisticated beyond his years. Maddox's public life and travels helped him to develop into a young man with a worldwide perspective. The media started to probe Maddox's relationship with Brad Pitt more fiercely as he got older. Early accounts of a close relationship between father and kids seemed to change in the years, leading up to Brad and Angelina's divorce in 2016. At the time, Maddox was 15 and reports of a tense relationship between him and Brad started to circulate. Unverified rumors of a fight between Maddox and Brad on a private jet ride surfaced, purportedly fueling the divorce of Brad and Angelina. The episode turned into tabloid fodder as rumors about Maddox's choice to cut ties to his father later spread. Although the family has been quiet about the specifics, rumors of their relationship sprang from Maddox's absence from some public gatherings his father attended. Brad has always shown his love and commitment to every one of his children, whatever the rumors. Media sources have nevertheless been challenging the nature of his relationship with Maddox, particularly as he grew older and relocated to study in South Korea. Maddox's choice to study overseas looked to be in line with his independence and will to forge his own path, apart from the close inspection of Hollywood life. Questions regarding the extent of Maddox's relationship with Brad Pitt linger as he approaches maturity. Rumors and speculation over the years. There was conjecture from the time Maddox, Jolie-Pitt joined Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's family. Being the eldest son of one of Hollywood's most well-known families, Maddox has been a topic of public interest with stories about his career goals to his relationship with his father, Brad Pitt. Early on, the media started speculating on Maddox's future. People questioned whether the young lad, raised, surrounded by superstars, would follow a similar route when Brad formally adopted Maddox in 2006, particularly after Maddox participated as an executive producer on First They Killed My Father in 2017. Many expected him to follow in the footsteps of his parents in Hollywood. This fed ideas that Maddox might pursue acting or possibly a career in film production. But in 2019, Maddox surprised the audience by enrolling in Yonsei University in South Korea to study biochemistry, therefore challenging such preconceptions. Some said that this indicated that he intended to create his own identity, apart from the glory of his parents, therefore marking his departure from the Hollywood scene. Maddox's connection with Brad Pitt has attracted a lot of conjecture in the meantime, particularly in light of the well-reported 2016 plane incident. Alleged to have contributed to Brad and Angelina's later divorce, the claimed altercation between Brad and Maddox during a family flight attracted close media attention. According to reports, Maddox had grown distant from his father, and some claimed that he had no desire for more of Brad's interaction. These rumors lingered particularly given Maddox's limited public appearances with his father in the years following the tragedy. Maddox's future and his friendship with Brad still intensely piques public interest. Maddox has barely made a few appearances over the years, which has only stoked rumors about his life. Maddox's younger years saw him frequently accompanying his parents to movie premiere events, but his public appearances become infrequent as he grew older, which fueled further speculations concerning his personal life. The fact that Maddox chose to study in South Korea generated even more conjecture. The media questioned if this was how Maddox was separating himself from the glory of his family. Some saw his absence from big Hollywood events, particularly the one where his father was honored, as evidence of constant conflict between him and Brad Pitt. Many questioned whether Maddox would follow Angelina into activism instead of Hollywood when she was seen on charity missions or political events. Though they have given the public more questions, Angelina Jolie's interviews about Maddox have offered peeks into his existence. Emphasizing Maddox's academic successes and love of learning, she has commended his brains and independence, but remarks on his relationship with Brad have been a few, which fuels ongoing suspicions of a split. These misgivings were heightened by Brad's absence from public view upon Maddox's departure for South Korea. In interviews, Brad Pitt has talked more broadly about parenthood. He has not specifically addressed his relationship with Maddox. His absence of specific remarks has simply kept the public searching for any indication of reconciliation between father and son, therefore fueling the rumor mill. Maddox's lack of public life and few interviews fuels popular interest even now. Social media has evolved into a central gathering place for conjecture on Maddox's existence. Though Maddox himself is still gone from sites like Instagram and Twitter, media sources and supporters both examine every element of his existence, from his academic schedule to his few public appearances. Social media users create their own hypotheses about Maddox's relationship with his parents and future ambitions. According to one well-known hypothesis, Maddox decided to study biochemistry in South Korea in order to separate himself from the Hollywood history of his family. Some view his emphasis on academics instead of amusement as a criticism of the way his parents lead their lives. Social media debates usually revolve on how Maddox's choice to study overseas reflects his need to keep privacy and follow a more academic track. Social media has also been utilized by supporters to deconstruct the speculations on Maddox's relationship with Brad Pitt. Users wonder why Maddox is missing when Brad is seen with his other kids at events, reading it as more evidence of their damaged relationship. There is still a lot of conjecture. Some say Maddox has cut himself off from Brad permanently, while others think that the two have reconciled behind closed doors. Comments made by Angelina and Brad concerning their kids are sometimes analyzed for hints about family dynamics. Online whispers abound as fans keenly await any change in Maddox's connection with his father. Social media has been instrumental in spreading these suspicions. Fans have shared ideas and examined every public interaction, or lack thereof, within the Jolie-Pitt family. Social media-fueled fan theories have simply served to accentuate the uncertainty about Maddox's life. Maddox has maintained much of his life secrets in spite of all the rumors and hypotheses. The audience is still enthralled with his decisions and the possible course of his work or personal activities are going ahead. It remains to be seen whether Maddox will finally speak out or keep leading a quiet life away from Hollywood. Nonetheless, the public's interest in Brad Pitt's eldest son shows no sign of declining. Turning 20, the big reveal. The world watched for the inevitable as Brad Pitt's son Maddox turned 20 years old. Rumors regarding his personal life and future had whirled for years, both in the media and among supporters ready for validation of what they long thought. There was ongoing conjecture on his career path and relationship with his renowned parents. But as he grew up, Maddox seized charge of his story and made a bold declaration that changed public opinion. The tipping point was Maddox's 20th birthday. Just days after the milestone, in a rare public interview, he confirmed what many had long speculated. He was choosing a career path far different from the Hollywood-centric one many had expected for him. Though he was a son of two of the most well-known performers in the world, Maddox had avoided the spotlight for years, preferring to keep his personal life secret. Making the announcement at 20 felt meaningful, as he was clearly becoming mature with his own voice. Though he only briefly worked on his mother's first film, First They Killed My Father, Maddox revealed that he was not interested in a career in acting or film production, against common assumption. Rather, he said his actual love was science, and that his studies in biochemistry would propel him towards a job in academia or scientific research. The people had long yearned for confirmation, and Maddox's public speech was that moment. Maddox's declaration transcended his own goals for his career. He answered some of the unresolved issues about his personal life in the same interview, including his relationship with his parents, particularly Brad Pitt. Years of rumors of conflict between Maddox and his father had continued, especially in light of the highly reported plane incident in 2016. This allegedly marked the turning point in the dynamics of the Jolie-Pitt family and left the public wondering whether Maddox would ever make peace with Brad. Maddox answered honestly yet politely about his connection with his father throughout the conversation. He confirmed that their relationship had suffered even though he refrained from discovering particular specifics regarding their past disputes. But over time, he pointed out, Brad and he had been striving for reconciliation and healing. Maddox's remarks regarding his father were measured and suggested a sense of maturity and knowledge that relationships change. Regarding his job, Maddox made it plain that he was dedicated to his studies and meant to concentrate on research after his degree was earned. This news added years of conjecture about whether he will follow his parents into Hollywood. Though he was proud of the work his parents had done, Maddox insisted on starting a profession based on his own hobbies instead of following their shadow. Maddox's disclosure revealed his will to lead a life motivated by his own principles, not public expectations. With Maddox's major disclosure front and center, everyone turned to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Though Angelina had occasionally talked more freely in interviews, the two had been rather quiet throughout the years about the personal lives of their children. Media and fans both bided their time to see how the well-known parents would respond to Maddox's remarks. Brad Pitt responded simply yet powerfully. Brad said in a statement provided via his agent said he was proud of his son for following his passion and choosing his own road. He said that although their relationship had suffered challenges, his love for Maddox has never changed. Though brief, Brad's comments suggested that he valued Maddox's autonomy and backed his choice to work outside of Hollywood. In an interview, soon following Maddox's revelation, Angelina Jolie, who had always been more outspoken about the life of her children, spoke in more great depth. She expressed great pleasure in her kid for handling the demands of growing up in public view, calling Maddox a brilliant, compassionate young man. Angelina hailed his dedication to his schooling and intellectual interests. She also spoke about the need of letting her kids follow their own routes in life and discover their own identities, a point she had mentioned in earlier interviews. Fascinatingly, Brad and Angelina's answers aligned in their respect of Maddox's decision. Their responses revealed that in spite of the upheaval of the past few years, they were both proud parents who wanted what was best for their son, even if that meant letting him distance himself from the public attention they had gotten used to. The responses of Brad and Angelina revealed the respect and encouragement of Maddox's autonomous path. Not only in his personal life but also the public opinion of Maddox, his disclosure 20s signaled a major turning point. Media conjecture about him had been rife for years, but with this declaration he grabbed hold of the story. Nowadays, Maddox was seen by the public as more than just the son of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. He was a person with his own aims and dreams, dedicated to pursue a career that would fulfill him personally. Years of conjecture were closed when his career route and relationship with his father were confirmed. Although Maddox had always been a private person, with this open disclosure he demonstrated to the world that he was ready to define his life on his own terms, free from the public eye of scrutiny and expectation. What's next for Brad Pitt's son? Since Maddox Jolie-Pitt's 20th birthday marks a turning point in his life, conjecture on his future direction is obviously at an all-time high. Born into one of Hollywood's most well-known families, Maddox has been in public view from a young age, but has lately kept a rather quiet life. Now with maturity formally arrived, his admission that he is following a road away from Hollywood has many wondering what lies ahead for the eldest son of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Maddox has previously made it somewhat plain that his love is academia and research, most especially in the subject of biochemistry. Having decided to study in Yonsei University in South Korea, he seems especially dedicated to a future anchored in science instead of following his parents' showbiz career. Although some may find this odd, given his calm, analytical approach and passion and intellectual interests, this is quite logical. After finishing his undergraduate degree, Maddox will most likely keep up his academic activities either directly into research or on postgraduate study. His love of biochemistry implies he might participate in innovative scientific projects, maybe in environmental science or medical research. A future in science would let Maddox make a significant contribution to society. And his choice to study overseas at Yonsei University shows his want to live freely and plot his own destiny. Combining his scientific expertise with his love of helping others, Maddox might also engage in humanitarian work, given his foreign education and global perspective he has acquired from traveling with his mother. Given Angelina Jolie's impact on worldwide campaigning for human rights, this would not be shocking. Having grown up seeing her humanitarian efforts personally, Maddox might be motivated to apply his scientific expertise to some of the most urgent problems facing the planet, such as refugee relief, public health concerns, or climate change. Whether he decides to concentrate on science, humanitarian work, or a mix of both, Maddox seems determined to change his own particular route apart from the Hollywood glory of his parents. This distance from the entertainment business could also show that Maddox is eager to lead a life of greater seclusion and substance, one based more on intellect and service rather than on celebrity. Maddox's concentration on academics will point to a time when he will be producing effects outside of the entertainment industry. Though Maddox obviously wants to be out of the public's eye, his life will probably nonetheless draw media coverage. He will always be of interest to fans and tabloids, as he is the son of two of Hollywood's most famous actors. But now that he has stated his career path, the degree of media attention could change. Once surrounded with questions about his future, especially if he would follow his parents' performing footsteps, the curiosity about his own academic or humanitarian activities has now taken front stage. Instead of the topic of rumors or conjecture over his relationship to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Maddox could find himself attracting interest for his contributions to science or world issues. The important issue is whether Maddox will keep his present inclination for privacy or choose a more prominent role going forward. He has so exhibited a tendency to withdraw from the limelight thus far, and given that his scientific career is under progress, it is likely he will keep avoiding public attention. But should Maddox's work in biochemistry or activism take front stage, he might become a public personality in his own right. one renowned not for his familiar background, but for his contributions to society. Should his studies of humanitarian efforts garner notable attention, he may find himself inadvertently once more in the public eye, but this time for more totally personal reasons. Maddox's decision will determine how he manages his need for seclusion against public curiosity. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting news. Click on the next video to stay updated on all the latest updates.